Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Levi. I'm the founder of Dynamic. We specialize in business process optimization, smart marketing strategies, and data and AI solutions to scale your revenue. This is the podcast, The Balance, and today I'm with a very special guest, Alejandro. Thank you so much for being here. I'm really excited for this podcast. To start off, could you tell us a little bit more about who you are and what do you do?
Sure. Thanks for having me, Levi. My name is Alejandro Troz. I'm the founder of ContaDigital. We are a boutique, finance and accounting firm, based out of Costa Rica, but we have a lot of our clients, based in the US. I'm an accountant, a CPA here in Costa Rica for over 15 years. The firm has been, independently run by myself, since 2014. And yeah, I'm excited to talk a little bit about everything in accounting and finance and whatever, the conversation is going to take us today.
Yeah, nice. Me too. We already had a little bit of a conversation just before the podcast. Of course, you've also lived in different places. You've got a lot of experience also with Conta Digital since 2014. I saw that on your LinkedIn since January 2014. So you must have done a lot in your life. Could you take us with you in like your lifespan with your career? Where did it start? How did you get to where you are right now?
Sure. So I started working right after high school, when I was still getting my accounting degree. I was working, daytime, going to school at night. And I work at the same place for almost 20 years, 18 years to be exactly. It was the biggest online travel agency, here in the region in Central America. And of course, being, hospitality, tourism things, COVID came in. This hit us pretty hard, because of that industry. So I was let go when I was in that position. And I already had a couple clients that I have, accounting clients as a side hustle, let's call it like that. And when that happened, I was able to negotiate my severance or my, liquidation from that office to get paid within 6 months, and not get the full payment right away, because otherwise I probably would have spent it or something. So I worked a lot, during the first couple of months after being let go to work on the website, work on the strategy, work on the Google Ads that was going to set up, to get the firm up and running. And I'm not going to lie, I took maybe a couple of weeks and didn't do anything, just play FIFA all day before I focused completely in the work. But after that, things really took off. I only had to pay for Google Ads probably 2 to 3 weeks. After that, I had to turn it off because I already had a couple of really interesting clients that came my way, and start getting referrals from those clients, and never paid, again for advertising. From there, things took off really well for us, and then just by referrals and word of mouth, it's how we were able to grow our business.
Nice. Sounds really good. For the future, what are like the future plans, the future vision, and like the big thing or the big goal that you're working towards right now with the Conta Digital?
Sure. The biggest thing is that I want to do some add-on services to our clients, meaning upselling some services that I've identified that I think will create value for them, and not just the ones that we currently have, which are the usual bookkeeping, financial reporting, those type of things. So some of the specifics that I have in mind is creating specific dashboards for the clients through Google Data Studio, through Power BI, one of those platforms, and there's another software that I really enjoy working with. It's called LiveFlow, and they do really good consolidation. If you have clients, that have different corporations or different countries or subsidiaries in different places of the world, the consolidation process with them works really well. And then they have their own dashboard creation platform, and that's kind of the things that I'm looking to implement to put it as an upsell to my current customers, as I'm not looking to bring new ones right now. I might have, opening for maybe 2 or 3 for the rest of the year, but that's it. On my side, I've never wanted to have this big firm. I want to keep it, boutique, great access to our clients and great communication with them. So yeah, that's where we are right now.
Yeah. And you say you wanted to have your firm boutique, great access, and I assume like high quality. What makes your firm different or better than maybe competitors?
I would say, that we're bilingual, particularly in our niche of clients, where we need really good communication in English and Spanish. Because, our niche is specifically folks that have US companies that have interest in some corporations or just living in Costa Rica. That's kind of our niche. So that's one thing, that I would say, our bilingual, skills. I would also say that we are really well around QuickBooks and integrations and automations. Here in Costa Rica, we have what we call a factura electrónica, the electronic invoice. So we have these integrations with QuickBooks and our local Ministerio de Hacienda, or what would be the local IRS, and we're able to automate a lot of these things. So when you get a electronic invoice, you get it through an email, it automatically goes into QuickBooks, it automatically confirms it with the local Hacienda. So all you have to do on month end is just kind of like visualize to see if they're being categorized correctly. But, the legwork's already done with the automations that we've been working on.
Yeah. Okay. And you mentioned that you also have got quite some clients in the US. Is like your biggest amount of clients in the US, or is that more in Costa Rica? And how do you like sort of separate that?
Sure. So, yeah, most of our clients, or I'll say better, our biggest clients are based out of the States. We have other clients here in Costa Rica, but I would say that probably between 60 and 70% of our revenue are from clients based in the States. And then, of course, the other difference will be from local clients here. The biggest thing with that is that, we've established, our own corporation in the States, so our clients are dealing with a US-based, company instead of dealing with, a foreign company or something like that. So that makes it easier for our clients. We got insurance in the States, as a professional service liability. And it makes sense just for them, and at the end of the day, if you think about it, our services, if you compare it to another boutique company, out of, I don't know, Miami, New Jersey, whatever you can think of, I'm pretty confident that our prices is going to be probably 30-35% less and with the same or even better quality, I would say, just because, we're
Hmm.
based out of Costa Rica, our services are a little bit cheaper than you would think from the States, and it's a near shore service that will make sense for companies in the States to consider us as part of, helping them grow their company.
Hmm. Yeah. So people from the States that want a better or just as good accountant as they have right now, but for a better price, they should reach out to you.
Sure. And we work with their tax preparers because we don't do taxes, for the States. We do the
Hmm.
bookkeeping and financial
Hmm.
reporting and analysis and those kind of things. But of course, we're not experts in tax situations in the States, but we have also our preferred CPAs that we work with, US-based CPAs. But of course, if clients have their own CPAs that they've been working on for years, I mean, we can communicate and talk with them with no problems, so that's no issue, So it's interesting, Levi, that you know how the accounting industry has changed, from previous time to now, in the sense that I just love how the technology has helped us, get to where we are. And it can even be just with, regular chatbots or AI, doing Excel formulas that you can just, check real quick, in Excel, and something that used to take me, 2 hours to do, I can do it within, I don't know, 10 minutes with just asking stuff online, with ChatGPT, for example. But it also comes with how well you manage this as the prompt user, just to make sure, that you're asking the right questions. It's not as easy, or it's not as simple as thinking, that AI is going to replace accountants or anything like
Hmm.
that, because you still need to have that kind of human common sense, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. I hear you. I agree. And with ContaDigital, and we're gonna dive into AI and that in a bit. Firstly, I'm curious about. It sounds like everything is going very very well. You've got a successful firm. You got enough clients. Also enough referrals. What are some things that are not going so well? What are like the challenges or the obstacles that you're facing with your business right now?
I'll say more kind of like from the founder level, in the sense of let go and delegate stuff, and I'm sure a lot of other firm owners have had this situation in the past, where, you feel that, hey, what am I gonna train, one of my collaborators to do this, when I can do it, in 5 minutes instead of taking, an hour to show them how to do this or that, So that's one of the things that I've struggled personally quite a bit, in the sense of really trusting, my team, the collaborators that work with me, in the sense that if I want to grow, I gotta be out of the day-to-day operations, on some of the accounts that we have, and just let the team handle them, but it's been really hard for me to really let go of that type of thing. I also think, that at least my more of a legacy clients, meaning old clients, that I booked them, or they're working with me since the beginning, they can expect me to be part of the process, to be part of the day to day. And that's something that I've been doing a good job, or a better job, I guess, with new clients, where I introduce us as a team, so there's other people gonna be working on your account, not just me. And I love doing the business development side of the business. I love being in front of potential clients. I feel pretty confident, that if I got a client in front of me, that I don't know, 7 to 8 out of 10 times, I'll be able to get them on board as clients. But I gotta trust my team more, with the delegation and those type of things, even if it's because I don't want to grow that much, but even if it's just to get a little more strategy in what we were talking about at the beginning with offering new services. So I need time to be able to think about that and create it, but if I'm stuck in a day to day, I'm not going to be able to do that. So I would say that that's one of the biggest things, at least for me. It's delegation and just taking the time to train my collaborators, well.
Yeah, I totally understand. And I think this is not only a struggle that you have, I think this is a very common struggle for entrepreneurs in general that really like build everything themselves. Like at the end of the day, it's like your baby, right? Like you've built it all up. You don't want to just delegate everything as quick as
Yeah.
possible because you want to make sure that everything goes
Yeah.
well. It goes like it's being done the proper way.
And the worst thing about it is that I know that the team is capable of doing it, So it's not that I don't think that they can do it. It's just my mindset of helping them get to that and just let go, trust them. I hired them for a reason, they're part of my team, Yeah, so that's one of the biggest things I would say that's been an issue for me, but it's part of the road, it's part of the journey.
100%, I agree. In the beginning, and also just now, we talked about AI and automations a little bit. What is your vision on that, on AI, the future of accounting? Do you already use it yourself? How do you use it yourself? Tell me more about that.
All right, so one thing about this is that I consider myself kind of like a tech geek or a tech nerd, whatever you want to call it, in the sense that I'm always trying to read about new stuff. Not sure you're familiar with Jason Stats. I believe that's his name. If you follow him on X or in Twitter, he has really good insights about, the accounting world and newsletters and tech wise and what apps and those kind of things. So I really love that type of stuff. Right now, the biggest things that we use, I would say it's ChatGPT, with different questions that we would use in Excel, and that type of stuff. I know that QuickBooks, which is the accounting software that we use, for our clients, it's implementing, their own AI platform interface. I don't know how they're going to call it, inside the platform. And I'm excited to see how that's going to come up, and I've been part of the beta test, so one of our accounts, we'll be able to play around with it. It's interesting how it kind of connects or sees everything that's been done in the account, the categorizations, and bring up suggestions. Then if there's a vendor that hasn't been paid before, it will automatically go and check online. Hey, this vendor looks like this, so this categorization might be, meals and entertainment, for example. So I do think that the AI is gonna change the way that we run our accounts and our clients, but in a really good way. I don't think we need to be scared. I don't think we need to be worried that we're gonna lose our jobs. It's completely the other way around. I think they're gonna enhance us. They're gonna make us better. They're gonna make us more efficient. If we implement AI in our day-to-day things, it's gonna save us, I don't know, at least let's call it an hour a day. So think about it in my situation. If I'm able to save 1 hour a day, I'm able to work in strategy for my business. I'm able to work on what can I offer my clients, if I want to bring new clients, So we just gotta embrace it, make sure that we're gonna implement it right and just go with it. It's if you just don't think that you're gonna use it or that it's gonna, go away with time, then you're gonna be out of business. So in
Mhm.
1 or 2 years, this is gonna change how we run our firms and you just got to embrace it. You got to, get in front of it, be some of the first firms to use it, and just give it a shot because, first of all, it's really interesting, it's really efficient, and I don't know, and it's fun for me. I enjoy it, So yeah, it's an interesting time to be an accountant, to work in the finance field, and I'm excited. I'm excited to how things will pan out, for all of us, for our clients, for our firms, and yeah, I'm just pretty excited to see what's gonna come.
Nice. And next to AI, what other like key trends are you looking into? Since you say like you're like a tech geek, a tech nerd, what other
Yeah.
things are you looking into next to AI, or what things are interesting you at the moment?
I mean, not sure if you remember, but a couple years ago, we had this big data boom. Remember, where everyone's gonna, get this certification in big data. And then I was part of that. I was really interested in big data and getting certifications about that and analyzing, a lot of information and doing data lakes, bringing information from Google AdWords to QuickBooks and then visualizing everything. I don't think that's one of the things that got replaced by AI, in the sense of AI can do that fairly quick compared to doing those type of things. So with new stuff, that I've been seeing around, I really enjoy, I think I brought it up already, an app or platform called LiveFlow, liveflow.io, I believe that's their URL. And what they do, it's this consolidation way. And if you're an accountant and you have customers that have branches everywhere, you need to do consolidation reports at the end of the month, right? And those take time. They're a little bit of a pain in the behind, if you have different account numbers or the account names don't have the same name in the different companies, you used to do this in Excel. Well, this platform will let you consolidate, and I kid you not, in probably 90 minutes instead of a full day. It's just that
Hmm.
efficient in the way that it works. So to any accountants or colleagues out there that have to work on consolidation reports or consolidation financial statements, you got to check that. You got to check that out. I've been using them from, I think it was in February that I started working with them, or using their platform, and it's been great. And yeah, so that's one big thing that I love that I've been using quite a bit. Let me see what else. I love, communications tools like Slack, that we can integrate with clients, and we can talk directly to clients over there. And because one of the biggest things, challenges that I've seen also is client communication when you create, a WhatsApp group with a client and then your staff. Sometimes it can get out of hand, So what I did was I found an integration that allows you to have WhatsApp groups inside Slack channels. So what I do with this is that then clients won't see my staff phone numbers, for example. So, we use the capabilities of Slack when you can turn off notifications, at 6 p.m. So you won't be, if a client wants to write something, after business hours, we'll see it next day. And of course, clients know if there's an emergency, we have a specific phone line that they can call, But these are tools also to help my staff also, because I don't want my staff having their own WhatsApp number, seeing clients talking to them even if on a Saturday morning or stuff like that. So that's another tool that I've implemented that it's been really good for the work-life balance that I want for my staff. So it's structured in Slack. Clients won't be able to see the phone numbers of my staff because they replied everything directly from Slack. I think those are the ones that I can think of right now.
Yeah, no, really, really interesting. And I think it's definitely for the people at home listening that are into this topic, something they should really look into. Alejandro, what is one piece of advice that you would give to an entrepreneur or another accountant or maybe bookkeeper that is listening right now? If they want to like, if they're looking to like grow their business or looking to reach their goals.
One thing that I don't think I mentioned to you in our previous conversations or just now, it's that I have a business coach or an executive coach, and she's been instrumental in my strategy and setting up what things have been working out for me. I started meeting with her once a week. Now we meet, every other week. And I understand, that someone might not have the budget for this, but there are other options, that you can find online. Just reading, checking YouTube videos, I felt quite a bit the imposter syndrome. Not sure if you guys have heard about that, but then it's when you feel that that you've been successful, but you don't feel that you earn it, that kind of thing, or that you're valuable. And then I was really struggling with that. So you know what really helped me? Just watching YouTube videos, people experimenting that. And there was this incredible tech talk from, I forgot the company's name, they're based out of Australia, that a project management tool, I forgot the name, but the CEO talked about it in his tech talk. And it was incredible how I was able to connect to what he was saying. And at the end of the day, with this imposter syndrome, it's still gonna be there. It doesn't matter how big you go. This guy, had his company, have Silicon Valley offices in Silicon Valley and stuff like that, and was still feeling like that. So you gotta understand it's how to deal with that, and work around it. So my biggest piece of advice is if you have the possibility to hire and work with a coach, to do that. But if not, just read a lot, go to YouTube, find videos about the situation that you're going through. And right now, with all the tech and everything that we were talking about, I mean, I'm sure that you'll be able to find really good quality stuff for free, So take advantage of that. Read a lot, watch YouTube videos, and you'll make it. If you're focused and those kind of things. And I believe, that one of the biggest things that I had when I was working in the other place, for 18 years, I was really good over there, good salary, but I was in a comfort zone. And when I started my business, I realized that there's a lot of opportunities out there, from clients, financially. So just go for it, So that's what I would say, just give it a try. If you're focused and dedicated, you'll make it.
Yeah, understand. Invest in yourself and just take action.
Exactly. One thing that I also want to say, it's the name of the company, ContaDigital. Conta is short for contabilidad, which is accounting in Spanish. So digital accounting. The funny thing about it is that, I got ContaDigital, but then my business ended up having more of our customers based in the US. So they don't really get that, the ContaDigital, as they don't know, that type of things, so I always try to also explain, a little bit about how I came up with the name, then it's an interesting story, when I'm talking to new clients, particularly the ones based in the States, because they're wondering what it means, because I think it's a great name, in Spanish, the ContaDigital, but it ended up being, that my niche or my core customers are more based in the States. So I should have maybe considered a different name or anything like that, but it's working now, and it's been good.
Yeah, but also the thing with branding, at the end of the day, a name is nice and a good name can really help you, but it's about like the value that you give. And
Yeah.
now you just gotta work your way up with ContaDigital. And I think the story behind it's really cool.
Yeah, I agree completely. At the end of the name, that's just a name, whatever value, whatever dedication, whatever work you're going to perform to your clients, that's what they're going to,
Exactly. Alejandro, if people want to connect with you or maybe want to work with you or want to learn more from you, where can they best find you?
I would say the best way would be through our website, which is contadigital.com. Then, of course, through LinkedIn, they can just find me, Alejandro Troz, and you can connect, with me through LinkedIn. And I'll say those are the best two ways to find me, or to reach out. That's another one thing, Levi, that I enjoy talking to people, so even if it's just for a quick advice or stuff like that, I enjoy that. Whoever's out there, needing for a quick email, a quick, conversation, feel free to reach out. I enjoy that part of the business too.
Perfect. Well, so for the listener at home, don't hesitate to just reach out to Alejandro because he likes to help and likes to talk. That's good. Alejandro, I really want to thank you so much for being on the podcast today. It was very insightful, very interesting for me as well to learn a little bit more about you, about your background, about your story, about your business. So thank you so much for that. Do you've got any last words for the podcast?
I would say that believe in automation, believing in AI. That's where our industry, it's moving to, and you gotta get on board. You're gonna be left behind if you don't get on board with new technologies coming in. So that's it. Just make sure that you're on board with new techs coming up.
Perfect, thank you. For the ladies and gentlemen at home that are listening, thank you so much for listening as well. My name is Levi. My guest today was Alejandro, and this was The Balance.